I learned three things the hard winter. I moved to Pinehurst Valley, Colorado. Never trust an HOA board president named Brenda. Always read the fine print on your property deed. And spite is the most powerful motivator known to mankind. My name's Kyle Davidson, and back in October 2024, I finally bought what I thought was my dream place. 5 acres of pristine Colorado mountain land, a solid 3-bedroom house, a massive old barn, and, cherry on top, a commercial-grade snowplow truck the previous owner threw in for next to nothing. The guy was heading to Florida and couldn't wait to ditch the cold or the HOA drama, though I didn't catch that part soon enough. Should have been my first clue. Pinehurst Valley HOA looked innocent enough, managing a few dozen homes tucked along a network of private roads, the kind that branch off from the main county highway and wrap you up in a cocoon of silence. My place was at the very end of Aspen Ridge Road, last house before the national forest swallowed the horizon. The old owner, Tom, told me he used the plow to keep his own quarter-mile driveway clear. Said the HOA sometimes asked for a hand with the roads, but he shrugged like it was nothing serious. I figured it was a neighborly thing, you know? I work remote. My girlfriend Emma was still living down in Denver, and the rest of the time, all I wanted was the quiet, the wildlife, and the kind of privacy you can't put a price tag on. The first snow came mid-November, just a few inches, but I was grinning like a kid as I fired up that old Ford F-450, blade as wide as a small car. Clear my drive in 20 minutes flat, the engine humming pure contentment under my hands. Felt like I'd lucked into a secret advantage. 2 days after that first snow, though, 7 a.m., I get a knock at the door. And that's how Brenda Whitmore marched into my life. Now, you haven't truly experienced HOA power until you've opened your door, coffee in hand, to a woman in her late 40s, blonde hair pulled so tight it looked like it hurt, wrapped in a North Face jacket with snow boots that had never seen an actual snowdrift. Her smile stopped about 6 inches short of her eyes. "Good morning. You must be Kyle. I'm Brenda Whitmore, president of the Pinehurst Valley HOA. I just nodded, still half asleep. Wanted to welcome you to the community and discuss your responsibilities as a resident with commercial snow removal equipment." That woke me up faster than any caffeine. She pulled out a folder, because of course she did. According to the bylaws, Section 12, Paragraph 4, any resident with commercial snow equipment must provide snow clearing services for all community roads in winter. She said it like I should have known. Apparently, Tom Henderson, old owner, fulfilled this obligation for 15 years. I blinked. Tom sure hadn't mentioned anything like that. She pushed the folder at me. County only plows the main highway, so our roads are our responsibility. We've relied on resident volunteers, and since you have the equipment, she trailed off, smiling thinly. Volunteer, I repeated. So I'd be volunteering to plow 6 miles of road? 5.3, actually, she corrected like that somehow made it better. And it's not really volunteering when it's in the bylaws. It's a requirement. I just took the folder and promised to read through it, mostly so she'd go away. As she walked off, I noticed my name already written in on the snow removal schedule, right over Tom's. I spent 3 hours that morning reading every line of those bylaws. Brenda wasn't totally wrong. Section 12, Paragraph 4 did mention residents may be called upon to help, but it was all vague. Nothing about must or about it being unpaid. I called the number on the letterhead. Some guy named Richard Chun, the treasurer, picked up. I told him Brenda said I was required to plow for free, and he just sighed. Yeah, Tom used to help out as a favor. We'd cover his fuel, give him a break on dues. Not actually required, but Brenda, well, she's persistent. I told him I'm not Tom. Richard chuckled. Good luck. Brenda doesn't take no for an answer. That Saturday, we got hit 14 inches overnight. By noon, Brenda was back at my door, this time with 2 more, Donald Pierce, the vice president, and Susan Martinez, the secretary. "Mr. Davidson," Brenda started, "the roads are impassable. You have a legal obligation." I told them, actually I don't. I read the bylaws. They say I may help, not must, and Tom got compensated. Donald chimed in, "We all contribute here. I pay dues. That's my contribution." I told them to hire a contractor if they wanted snow cleared. Brenda's face turned the color of a ripe tomato. Contractors want $8,000 for the season. Not my problem. That week, I got daily emails, texts, guilt trips, even veiled threats about community harmony. I ignored them all. Then the letter came. Notice of violation, big red stamp, threatening $100 a day fines. I called a real estate attorney, Patricia Mills. She laughed when I explained. This is classic HOA overreach, she said. They can't force you to work for free. I'll send a cease and desist. For 3 blissful days, I heard nothing. Then it snowed again. Next morning, my driveway was blocked. Someone had plowed a 4-foot wall of snow right across it. My truck was trapped. I called the sheriff. Deputy Martinez came out, looked at the mess, and shook his head. That's deliberate. Any idea who? I have suspicions. He took a report, but without proof, nothing would come of it. I spent the afternoon installing cameras everywhere. Emma came up that weekend, took one look at my security setup, and sighed. You're at war with the HOA. They started it. I told her. Is it worth it? She asked. It's not about snow. It's about standing up to bullies. If I give in, what's next? Free landscaping. She just shook her head. Next snowstorm, cameras caught Donald in his black pickup, plowing another wall across my drive at 6 a.m. I had him, clear as day. I called the deputy again. Donald got cited for criminal mischief and had to pay for my time and repairs. Brenda called that night, furious. You had Donald arrested. He blocked my property. What did you expect? We're trying to maintain a community, she shrieked. Then act like it, I told her. And keep your board away from my land. The HOA called an emergency meeting, voted to fine me $5,000 for discord in the community. Richard called to warn me. He'd voted no, but Brenda's clique pushed it through. I forwarded it all to Patricia. She filed a lawsuit for harassment and damages. Suddenly, other residents started paying attention. Most had no clue what Brenda had been up to. Assumed Tom plowed out of kindness. Jennifer Hale, another resident, started a petition to recall Brenda. 23 signatures in a week. Brenda panicked, emailed everyone claiming I was the problem. Jennifer sent everyone the cease and desist and the video of Donald's snow blockade. The recall was set for February 15th. Meanwhile, Colorado got hammered. 6 storms in a month. The roads were a disaster. Brenda started calling me with offers, reduced dues, board seat, even cash. I ignored them. Then the big storm hit. 18 inches, drifts 3 feet deep. I cleared my own drive and my elderly neighbor Helen's because she was 83 and couldn't do it herself. As I finished, Brenda skidded up at her Lexus, stomping through snow. You will plow our roads, she demanded. No, I won't. I'll make your life hell. Already trying. Not working. You're on camera. She glanced at the garage, saw the lens pointed her way, turned red, and stomped off. She got stuck trying to leave, and I just watched. Brenda lost the recall 28-7. Donald resigned. Susan lost her secretary post. Jennifer became president and immediately hired a real snow removal company, dropped my fines, apologized, and paid my legal fees. I dropped the lawsuit. Felt like justice until 5 days later, my plow truck got vandalized. Tires slashed, hydraulics cut, selfish prick sprayed across the hood. Cameras caught 3 masked figures, Brenda, Donald, and Susan. Deputies arrested all 3. Brenda pleaded down to probation, paid for repairs, and sold her house. Donald stuck around but kept his head down. Susan moved away. The best part? Pinehurst Valley changed. Jennifer streamlined the bylaws, built a real budget, brought in actual community input. Emma and I got married in the backyard that summer. People showed up. Helen even baked the cake. I realized for all the headaches, I actually like plowing snow. There's something about early mornings, a clean white world, and the hum of the truck. So, next winter, I offered to plow the HOA roads for pay in writing. Jennifer laughed, but we made a deal. $4,000 for the season, fair rate, everything above board. The extra income kept my truck running, and the work was honest. But I never forgot the principle. Never let them think they can demand, threaten, or guilt someone into free labor. Which leads to the moment this story is really about, the day the 10-foot snow pile was born. 1 year after Brenda's first visit, another storm hit. 3 feet, blizzard conditions, drift 6 feet high. I worked my route, saving the entrance near Patricia Stone's house. The same Patricia who'd led the Kyle's too harsh faction for last. Her property hugged the community's decorative gate, the one that showed up on all the fancy brochures. That morning, Jennifer called. Patricia was on the other line, losing her mind, saying I deliberately blocked her in. I hadn't even plowed her street yet. When I finally reached the entrance, I saw what she meant, a mountain of storm-driven snow piled at her drive. My contract said plow the roads, not driveways. So I did what any petty, righteous contractor would do. I cleared every road, then took every bit of snow from that last stretch and built a mountain right in front of the decorative gate. 10 feet high, 15 feet wide, impassable. If Patricia wanted out, she could take the long way on the roads I had already cleared. I took a photo, drove home, and braced for the fallout. My phone blew up. First Jennifer, then Patricia screaming about lawsuits, then Deputy Martinez, who tried and failed to keep a straight face. The story went viral in our local Facebook group, then the Denver News. Local HOA dispute leads to 10-foot snow pile. Even the news reporter cracked up. I told her, safety's my priority. The snow had to go somewhere. For 3 days, that pile stood as a monument to malicious compliance. Contractors quoted $2,000 to clear it. Patricia refused. The snow eventually melted, but nobody questioned my snow removal after that. Jennifer called it lucky. I called it strategy. HOA renewed my contract, even gave me a raise. Patricia joined the board for a term, learned her lesson, and stopped complaining. Helen passed away that spring, but her son thanked me for looking after her. The community stabilized, property values rose, and for the first time, I felt like I belonged. At the summer barbecue, someone gifted me a painting, a snowplow, and a 10-foot pile of snow at the gate. It hangs in my office, titled Malicious Compliance. 3 years later, Pinehurst Valley's HOA is actually respected. People help each other because they want to, not because someone's breathing down their neck. Jennifer's a great president. Emma and I are expecting our first kid, and every time the snow falls, I remember the lesson. Sometimes the best way to stand your ground isn't to fight harder, but to know the rules better than anyone else. Did I have to go through all that drama just to clear some roads? Maybe not. But if I'd given in, Brenda's game would have never ended. That snow pile wasn't just snow. It was a statement. You can't force people to serve you or punish them for saying no. You want something done? Treat folks fairly. Offer a square deal. That's how real communities work. So, let me ask you, where's the line between standing up for yourself and being the problem in a community? Have you ever had to push back, even when everyone said to just go along? Drop your stories in the comments. I want to hear about your own battles, your own lines in the sand, or in my case, 10 feet of snow.